Welcome back to the Sun and Moon Tarot. Today we will find what is good and what is hidden. I hope you're well and staying blessed, enjoying life wherever you are. This is a Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus fire sign read. If you do have Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries in these placements, this is your general read for the season of Scorpio. Welcome back. Please like, share, subscribe. It does help my channel to grow. If you'd like to book with me, my information is in the description box below. We'll do 3 rows for your read today. Your first row will be recent past. Second row will be second row will be current energy. Third row will be future fire signs. Bottom of the deck holds the overall energy for your reading. And we will grab a clarifier or 2 at the end. I hope you're enjoying the Halloween season. Okay, fire signs, hopefully we can get this read produced. It's been like a 5-day break. But that is what happens when you do have a newborn. So we're getting there anyways. All right, so my Sagittarius, my Leo, my Aries. Let's get into your general read. Let's see what you've been dealing with and what you will deal with, right? So the first 2 cards that just came out, Strength card, Queen of Swords, recent past, having some form of strength in a compassionate manner in your recent past was something that you had to be really logical about. Let's see, let's get a little more information on that. Okay, so you do have the Strength card, Major Arcana, recent past, representing courage, inner strength, conviction, and compassion. The Queen of Swords is the Queen of Air. She does represent, obviously, Queen of logical thinking, complexity, perceptive, clear-mindedness, right? Finally, you have the Nine of Cups, which is a beautiful water card representing emotional stability, representing luxury and satisfaction. So, what does that mean? In your recent past, if this is going to resonate for you as fire signs, you having to be compassionate in some way, shape, or form was something that was ultimately logically for your betterment, right? It was something that maybe wasn't easy. And you had to be very logical and compassionate in dealing with something so that you could build an emotionally stable situation, it would seem. So let's grab your current energy. Oh, you have the King of Swords, the King of Air. Fire signs, are you dealing with an air sign? Or do you have prominent air placements? Are you a cross watcher? 3 of Pentacles. So the King of Swords in your current energy is representing the King of Logic, the King of Air, the representation of like literally logical thinking. So head over heart, logic over emotion, right? And he also represents truth and discipline. The 3 of Pentacles represents teamwork, collaboration, and building together. You have Judgment for your final, for the final card for your current energy. Being logical about building something, because this is reflection, awakening, reckoning with Judgment. So you are in your current energy. You're awakening to something in terms of how you logically need to work with someone. Does that make sense? You're like logically thinking about how you need to work with someone and why it benefits you in terms of a team effort. This could be in your job, this could be in your love life, your familiar life, your friendship life, any kind of networking, really. It seems to do with a relationship, though. Likely career for many of you. So we're going to grab your future row and your clarifying cards my beautiful fire signs. Let's see what Scorpio season holds for your future. You've got the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and finally you have the Five of Swords. It is interesting that your clarifying cards are pulled fire signs. It's interesting to me that the Seven of Swords is at the bottom of the deck, because when we were, for your first row, I was like, this card would be a determining factor for how I read that, the first line. And so that it's interesting. So the Seven of Swords represents deception, trickery, and tactics. It usually represents someone that, like on so for you, I'm sorry, it depends on like where it plays out in the read, but like this can mean, and like in some of these rows I would say, like for example, this is going to mean more so you being tactical in how you build this team. But for your recent past, Strength, Queen of Swords, and Nine of Cups with the Seven of Swords. Being compassionate with someone, even though you very much recognize how they are deceptive or tactical, or they are just strategic and they're not like really there for your best interest. They don't have your best interest at heart, but you know that you are on the right path in your recent past. So for your current path, right, how does this play out? You have the Seven of Swords again. There's some sort of like just like understanding for you that there's some sort of deception going on, or there could be, and you're being very logical about building because of it, because you're really having an awakening, I think, about how when people kind of play this way, how it affects your ability to build with them. For your future, you have the Knight of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. Okay, so the Knight of Pentacles represents efficiency, hard work, responsibility. The Two of Pentacles represents balancing decisions, priorities, and adaptations. I hope I said Pentacles. They're both obviously Pentacle cards. The Five of Swords is your final card here for your future. It does happen to represent unbridled ambition when it all costs energy and sneakiness. So I think that in your future fire signs, you either need to like, okay, you have to be efficient, and I think you already know that. I think you're tactical with how efficient you are, and you adapt in your future with this kind of like, I want to be ambitious, and I have to adapt with my decisions, right? I have to kind of like decide what would be best for me, and then move forward in a way that's best. So in my future here, fire signs, I would say that you are going for, like, you're not only looking for a way to be like incredibly, you're being hardworking, you're being efficient, you're showing up where you need to in every dimension really, but there's this like, again, this card's going to vary. For some people it's going to be you're deciding if a relationship is worth it or not after kind of grunting and bearing it through this kind of like time period where this person has shown their true colors, right? Ultimately, so like if you this is going to resonate for people that are in a relationship where they're recognizing that they're probably like over giving to someone that's never going to give back. There, I said it. Okay, so you are reminder of in your past you were compassionate with them already, right? We've already learned that it doesn't necessarily benefit you in terms of emotional stability because this person is deceptive. So you're learning and awakening to this lesson. For a lot of people, this is how this read plays out, okay? I love you all. And then in your future, you're adapting and you're recognizing how you show up and how they show up. And you're really like, okay, how do I adapt here? How do I move forward in a way that doesn't like create more chaos than is already in place in my reality? So you have 55 appearing, with the clarifying cards being the 5 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So, like, just to be real, this card, and this card are not, they're not happy cards. This is loss. So this is like, in terms of money, this is like insecurity or poverty, or some sort of resource insecurity where you like don't have your needs met. You're like having survival issues with this card. And the Page of Cups is a court card for water, representing happy surprise, dream, or sensitivity. So I think for those of you that are going through something like in a relationship, and there's been kind of like almost like an air of deception. So either your person is deceptive, or like you know how this plays out in your life. It's either like they are very much a liar, or they are just like lazy and manipulative, or a combination of all three. You're gonna know your person. It seems like this is more having to do with like a structured read for someone that's in a relationship. It could be career, of course, with the whole with that dynamic of someone being decepted. So it's either, most likely for you, it's either a relationship. That's, most people it's going to be a relationship, but for some people it's going to be someone that they network with for a career that is deceptive. And like, your warning with this read, if you do know someone in your workplace that you feel like is deceptive, is to not ignore that you've already learned a lesson, to recognize that they will create loss for you, and that there's some sort of happy surprise as well here. So there's major change present with the 55. So for the two different groups, if this is like a relationship or career, right? It's just either way how I should say how the relationship in this read plays out for you with these clarifying cards. If it's a career-based relationship this has to do with, there's some sort of change that has to do with you either getting a new job or a promotion or a raise, or moving away from this deceptive person in your work life, in your love life, if it has to do with that. Instead, there's just some sort of like happy surprise that's coming in after a time of like either resource insecurity or just like low money. So yeah, I hope that helps. I hope you kind of mind how this person is playing out in your life. And for your Scorpio season, of course, remember that there is a happy surprise coming for you shortly after, likely in Sagittarius season. So if this is an occupational read for you, expect that in the next month. In the next month. And if it's a love read, remember that you really need to like consider how this relationship plays out, and if it is a toxic one, cut it, and if it is not, continue to remain passionate. But ultimately, depending on who you are, you've already learned those lessons, and you should already know if this person is positive or negative in your life. I'll see you in the next read. Fire signs, love you dearly.